but it didn't.
Call to order, adoption of agenda 2.1 recommendation. Can I get, Danielle, can you read that?
That council adopt the agenda.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? 3.1, or 3, adoption of minutes, 3.1 recommendation. Marnie, can you read that?
The council adopt the minutes of the special council meeting held on April 28, 2022.
Can I have a seconder? Second. Discussion? All in favor? 3.1 recommendation. Barb, can you read that?
The council adopt the minutes from the regular council meeting held on May 2nd, 2022.
Can I get a seconder?
Okay.
Discussion? All in favor? Introduction of late items 8.13 or 8.3, all diamonds use. And then we have public hearings, none, delegation 6.1, recommendation. Marcel.
The council hear the delegation from Jeremy Linklater in regards to Canada Day.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? Come on up, Jeremy.
Where would you like?
Do you want the podium or do you just want to stand?
can
You can
stand here,
stand
that's fine.
wherever you're comfortable.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for having me. So yeah, we're here to discuss, I guess, what's going on for Canada Day, right? So I think there was interest in looking at another not-for-profit, maybe getting involved, from what I understand. And we're already established one, the Dawson Creek Dare to Dream Society. And it's kind of right up our alley. So I think we'd be a good fit for this, and we'd have a lot of fun doing it, you know. So I don't know if what your guys' take on it. I'd like to maybe open up to some questions. What do you guys think of that idea?
I think it's a great idea. Danielle?
So with the Dare to Dream Society sort of taking this on, are we able to kind of do a bit of that fundraising aspect for having people maybe pay for parking and pay for, because we currently can't do that. So that could be definitely something which could help with the budget for previous years as well.
Yeah, in the park now, it's a little different setup, right? So there's some ideas that I've got for that, for the parking issue. It will be limited, right? But we've also discussed possible transportation, maybe from Ball Diamonds down to the park, provided, right?
Yeah, no, I just mean currently we can't collect funds for Canada Day, but if you were sort of running that, then that's something that you could kind of
Yes.
Yeah, look at doing, which so help alleviate some of that.
Well, yeah, it's non-for-profit, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? Marcel?
So part of what getting involved with Canada Day is you guys would kind of take on organizing it and helping make sure
The organization.
the event kind of runs smoothly for that day. And
Yeah, and we're talking mostly just the park stuff, right? Like the parade, I think would be more of the village's cup of tea, right?
Mhm.
And then we would just concentrate on the event at the park.
Danielle?
So I know that you and Marcel, maybe you have been doing a lot of the current organization, so it's being taken over immediately, that Jeremy's been stepping in? Okay, perfect, yeah, and that will kind of alleviate, all that stress and pressure. Perfect.
Okay, can I have a motion on the floor? Sandy?
So what do you mean by take over?
Well, taking it over and organizing it and finishing the organization.
What you would have been doing, right? Not anything to do with purchasing or paying bills or, that still needs to come through us.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
As far as what? For purchasing?
Anything that's purchased towards Canada Day that would be a cost to us needs to come through the office. It can't be you paying for it and then us reimbursing. Do I have that right?
Wouldn't it be more of a donation to us than we put it on?
It depends how it's coming in, right?
Wouldn't that make more sense? Because I mean, we could just directly have it a one-time payment kind of thing to us, and we just take care of all the little details. Because if we have the kid coming back, then who's really running it?
Well, the thing is that this is coming in right in the middle.
Yeah, this time it's going to be a little.
Yeah, so
we'll
for
have to work
next year it
together.
would be,
It'll
next
be
year we would set it up so that it's, I guess, contract.
Well, we can still do the same thing, but I mean, things have already been, I think, arranged, we can still do the
I
exact
know,
same
but
thing.
everything that she's arranged is coming through us.
Okay.
It doesn't go through the mayor, it comes through
Gotcha.
Trina and myself. So we can work out those details and stuff, okay.
So we'll put a motion on the floor that we will,
That you'd like
Anybody
Dare
here?
to Dream.
I'll put a motion on the floor that Dare to Dream, take over, organizing July 1st. Can I get a seconder?
Well, can we just amend that, then we can go back and create some sort of future contract, so for this year, he takes over by what Sandy had said,
Take
going,
over July 1st for 2022
and then,
with,
With a follow-up, it'd be good. You know,
yeah,
I
that's
think
what,
we should.
I'm just thinking, just
Then we
amend
can,
it.
if we can get that then solidified again for next year, then we can start preparing.
So Danny's gonna make the motion.
I'm gonna, yeah, do that.
She's snagging my motion.
Just to have it so that, yeah, he can then come back and then work something out with staff that works for us as well as works.
Yeah, exactly, I'd like to get, like, we'll work out like your expectations,
Mhm.
right? And see what you guys want to see down there as well,
Yeah,
right? Like, we've got our own, we're gonna have our own take on it, but we definitely want your vision, right? It's the Poos Kubi kind of
Right.
thing, so.
So how will this impact the society that you're creating to,
Well, it might
the
not.
motion
We
for
won't.
the society that you made?
so we had put out about the whole society thing, have you heard a bunch back? I've put feelers out as well, and everybody I've spoken to, nobody is time. And so there's always that volunteer aspect, it's definitely been difficult, and so when, this is like coming up with Jeremy coming in, who's already established because of what he does with the music festival in Dawson Creek. We would then, rather than do a society thing, which isn't getting much push at this point in time, it would be taken over by the Dare to Dream Society, that's my
And
understanding.
that's their society, and we might as well have them do it.
And you're a not-for-profit,
Yes, I'm
yeah,
saying proper, you bet.
yeah.
Barb?
Will you be looking for a donation then after the fact, or is this?
Well, I mean, we're a not-for-profit, we do definitely wanna give back to the community, but, I mean, we can't be doing it for exactly nothing either. So we'd have to work out some sort of arrangement maybe for this year, cause a lot of things have already been planned. But, I mean, I think there'd have to be some sort of arrangement, you know, because there is time involved. But we definitely do wanna give back to the community too, so.
that's something that could be talked about after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think talking to your thing, Counselor Smith, yeah, like, because we've already been budgeting for Canada Day, right, which is what we had sort of talked about in all the previous meetings. And so it would be roughly along the same lines that we were looking at with forming a committee. But the nice thing about these guys is that, like, they can, you know, sell things or rent spaces out to the food trucks and make money that way, and they can charge a bit for parking in the future, where we can't do that. So that's why we were looking at doing the whole society thing, because other places, like for powwows and stuff, they rent out spaces to those food trucks and make money in that way as well. So this would create more of a give and take, where right now it's only the village supplying all the money and then not able to make any of it back.
Well, there used to be a foundation that used to do this before.
Yes, yeah, and that's what the big,
Closed, and that's why we ended up with it, because we didn't wanna see it just fade away, because it's a big community thing.
Well, I'm glad it's still going forward, this is exciting to see it back in the park. I think a lot of people will be really happy to see that, you know, that was pretty crazy what
Yeah.
happened there. So.
And then next year we can say, hey, do you want it behind the school, or do you want it at the park? You know,
You know-
there will be questions for the
Yeah,
residents, right, to ask,
yeah,
or some.
And the other thing too with the Dare to Dream Society is you guys have access to some vendors and stuff that we don't necessarily have access to for stuff like bouncy castles and more of that recreational
we've got a good
type of
list.
stuff, good.
Yeah.
And you have contacts with all of them, so it's something else that goes, like it's, you know, what we're looking at doing in the park, or what we talked about doing in the park is basically a weird image of what they do every summer and have for the last, like,
Minus the water slide.
5 years. Yeah.
The water slide's pretty awesome.
alright, so yeah, Mike, motion's on the
I
floor?
need a seconder.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Did the
Any
two-
opposed?
Do you want it noted?
Yes, please.
Public hearing, or, sorry, thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
6.2 recommendation that council gives a delegation from Rob Brown regarding the Secundra.
Stay in the same spot. That works.
Okay.
It's already worked out for you.
Just, and commenting as Jeremy's leaving, that's very good. We were, actually, a bulk of our filming that we made up for Lost in 2020 was done at his festival last year, so that's kind of neat. And I know the two MCs that he usually
Thanks,
uses.
Jeremy.
That he usually uses, so that's good. So did you just want an update and then jump into questions from anybody? Because there's some new people that officially I haven't been here for, so. I'll give you the quick 3-year update, because I've been coming here every 5 or 6 months for 3 years now. So we started filming in fall of 2020 after budgets or 2020, pardon me, I already started wrong. We started filming in the fall of 2019 after budgets in 2019 decided on the money over a 3-year period. So we cast everything and most everybody in the summer of 2019. Filmed about half the movie according to plan that fall. Winter started messing around with it. Thing we didn't plan on was a pandemic. So in 2020 we only filmed about 2 days, mainly because everybody was not supposed to be together. So we made up for 2020 in 2021 when restrictions were released, and then we made up for all the filming last year kind of thing. And unrelated to this meeting, just because we set our own internal deadline knowing Canada Day was coming up, the next 12 days we're going to try to finish this thing and have it done for June 1st, and then just iron out details before July 1st, which includes me meeting up with Ben with Eagle Vision just to make sure everything syncs and all that. Last year we tried to play the trailer and I think the music video at his festival, and it didn't work on the screen just because we had the wrong media hookup. There's a music video we shot at the Royal Pub last August with Marty Peterson and his band. It's out. And then there's a trailer that's out as well. And there's a kid's book related to the first kid's turn-along book, about 24, 25 pages, that's kicking around as well. So I can bring some of those in as well. It's just things to spread the word about the village, especially in that case, because all the dead space in the book is made up for ads for search and rescue and the fire department, and it's just ads pulled from existing ads around town, around the village. And yeah, it's a kind of a key 12 days where we're trying to get, trying to get it finished over the next 12 days, 14 days or so. It's about a cast of 25, about 40 all in if you don't count the people that aren't speaking. There's about 65 minutes of music created all in the piece from about 67 different artists. And then some art as well, like graphic design as well from the area, and then try to keep most of it in Canada. Anything I went out international for, it had to be a bigger name, like somebody saying Pink Floyd or something like that. That's about it, where I'm at as far as a general update on the movie and the project.
You ready for questions?
Anytime.
Anybody have questions? Danielle?
So a lot of drone, your shots of the community that were the shot, they were beautifully done. I really found them absolutely beautiful. Was a little bit lost with the tourism aspect of it, I'm gonna be honest. It was because I wasn't part of the initial planning, it was totally not what I was expecting.
Totally.
So then when I went, I was like, I thought this was a tourism thing. There were some beautiful shots in there, but unless you were from here, you wouldn't really know that they were of the area.
Yeah.
So where does it play into that tourism bit? How are you gonna incorporate that in?
Sure, and I know this is a question that came up certainly the last time. I think the configuration was reversed and I was sitting there on this, as far as the camera's concerned. Yeah, when we were talking about the tourism video, we were expecting myself and some of the other people that are in it saying, hi, this is Rob, this is Let's Museum, this is our Trestle Bridge, this is our the 7 or 8. That'll be in there, that's extra stuff that most of it's shot, and then some of it we're gonna reshoot in a day. As the former CAO said, he goes, this is a movie that features the village, and that's what the tourism aspect is, and that it's showcasing the village and all of it, or almost all of it in it. I think the trestle was the only thing we decided early on not to feature just because of something that happened there. But that's the scoop there. I mean, I know what you're saying when you read the agenda, and it says tourism video. Yeah.
Yes, well, especially because all the money came from the tourism, budget, yeah, so that's why.
Yeah.
I was like, so it must be tourism, and then I know, when I.
And then, yeah, but I mean, if we're saying I'm basing this on these 7 or 8 pieces of the walk, like the RSMP detachment, the Legion, the library. There's about a 12-minute video of that type of thing as well. And on the special features, you click and here's the village, and that's
So
exactly what would come up.
So that's gonna be kind of like a behind the scenes sort of a thing.
Yeah, but and it's like I say, it's shot in part of it, but the bulk of the business is this, and like you say, there's stuff going on in that.
Did anybody else like in the area fund this project as well? I'm just asking.
So you find it or?
Sorry.
Oh, no, other than some private people that donated time and or what we'll call sweat equity. Not really. Other than say the Mirror probably donated some significant.
Yeah. You being the editor in
I'm
chief.
trying to think of a word to use, but significant,
Yeah.
You can just leave it at that.
yeah.
I had a couple of questions, I just asked them in sequence. My next question as well, I'd want to ask, a lot of your like cutaway stuff was, like, some of it was from the news from the States and stuff, which is fine, but there was like a scene from Scooby-Doo in there, and I was like, is
Yeah,
that
that
legal?
little business right at the end, I'm messing around with, but probably not Scooby-Doo won't be in there anymore, but the idea is the cartoon van's gonna roll out of there before it turns into the real van.
Okay.
But yeah, Scooby-Doo probably won't make the cut, yeah. All the other stuff is either my own footage or stuff we shot, so there's no worry about that.
Oh, okay, so even like the whole camping scene with everything and,
Oh yeah, that's all our business, yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay. I wasn't sure, because there
Yeah.
was like a difference when it sort of flipped through, I was just like, oh, well, this looks like it's from.
I mean,
something.
okay, there's that little, again, right at the end, that little 1980s sequence where we cut to commercials for lack of a better,
Mhm.
all of that's to look like the 80s, but everything else is shot in camera or made in the computer, so to speak.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, last question.
Yeah.
With us showing it at Canada Day, I know, like, I was watching it and I was thinking, okay, some families are gonna have a different expectation.
Yeah.
Right? And I think my only concern is, like, I was watching it and I was like, okay, I probably wouldn't let my youngest watch it.
Sure.
Because it's, some of the content in there is
Sure.
just, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if maybe that's something like we need to put out hey, may not be for everybody.
Totally, yeah,
Because
I completely understand that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Just because, as, Papoose-Coopee is a very inclusive community, and we do have a large, religious and homeschool.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I was watching and I was thinking, okay, my oldest would probably watch this, but my youngest is only like 8, and I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't let her watch it because she wouldn't understand. She'd be very.
Well, yeah, and I always say there's one thing if they find it boring, there's another thing if it's just over their heads, right?
Yes, and so that was my only thing with us showing it at Canada Day. I do have that concern.
For sure, yeah, I get the idea that it's not
Yeah.
about the birthday of the nation.
Anybody else? There's my hand.
Brian?
Yeah, so went through it, yeah, I understand it's a rough cut, the first
Yeah,
5 chapters of it had a decent flow to it. My only question was, and I read from the note that you're still editing the last chapter of it there.
totally, that last bit, yeah.
Yeah, because it seemed to flow really nice into that last little bit was a little choppy at how that fit into the rest of the story.
Yeah, and you can see,
Yeah, so that was the only thing I picked up from it, but other than that, like, the storyline followed fairly decent, like, Danielle mentioned, there's some really nice shots of there, particularly like the Sakunka Falls.
Yeah, so where you throw the drone over the kid, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was actually a really cool shot. But, yeah, it was just that last sequence where it kind of
Yep, and that's exactly it, we're getting it together. Yep,
put that together.
completely, yeah. And that's where most of the voiceover work is missing, and then, or missing on what you have and that we're doing this week, or,
No,
but if it doesn't make sense, we'll, gonna figure that out, for sure.
I'm confused about ownership.
Okay, yeah.
Is this your movie that we've donated to?
I
Is it
guess,
the village?
I mean, I think it's the village's production of something I produced, for lack of a better word, but I think as far as anybody owning it, I don't,
We own it.
I think you own it, yeah, like, It makes sense, yeah, you're the one that funded it, right?
Anything else? No.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, if it's for sale, wherever, like, yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
no worries. Thank you.
7, unfinished business arising from the minutes, there is none. New business, 8.1. Money,
Can council discuss the open house for the fire department?
can I get a seconder?
Second, discussion.
So Sandy, we have to change the date on this because you sent out an email and nobody answered it, they wanted to discuss it in the meeting and you had the date booked for the 25th?
So that said,
Go ahead.
this was, prompted by a council member, so I'm gonna let that council member take the lead on this one. Councilor Beach.
Tis me, well.
Yep.
But I had definitely wanted us to also bring it back to, during the NCGLA conference, myself and Councillor Smith had kind of a few times to sort of talk about what this whole open house was going to look like. And I know, the first conversation was, it's just a conversation with residents, which is what you and Councillor Cougar definitely said. And then the second time it was like, well, it's to discuss what the residents want. And then, well, it's to discuss the cost of the fire hall and to see if they feel that's sustainable. So it was sort of like 3 different things, and I get the general idea of what you guys are going for, and I completely support it. But I think maybe we should postpone the date. And actually, I brought all this with me. So I had mentioned to Councillor Smith that I was going to read up on the fire department at the NCGL thing in preparation of us doing this open house, because I feel like you can't talk about facts if you don't know them. And so I reached out to Chief DeVoe, I reached out to the staff, I was all over the internet, I was grabbing bylaws, I was going crazy, and this is everything I read and have taken notes on. I've read the Fire Act, I've read all of our bylaws, I've read our service agreement with Peace River Regional District, and going into reading all that, there were some things I did know, but I can tell you I learned a lot. It was probably one of the best things I could have done. I took 15 pages of notes about the fire department, just on the budget, the agreements, the payment for the fire protection services, capital contributions, reporting requirements, fire department management committee, grounds and ladders, use of spare equipment, protection and fire services. I took notes for like days.
Did you want that put into the agenda?
No, yes, I'm still working on it. I color coded it. I'm one of those. I also looked into our level of service, and we are running currently at a red and purple service. I looked into what that meant. And so
Is that
there's
level 3?
Yes, yeah. And there's so much information, in all honesty, to take in. And I think going into this open house, it would be beneficial for us and for the community if prior to we send out an information package covering the basics, covering what our fire hall currently does, what level of service is currently being provided to the community, just things that would be important for them to know, things that I learned and went, oh wow, I didn't even know that. I'd like to have the chief come in and work with the staff so that the information going out is based on our fire department and facts. And
What was from us?
The last slides were that, at the last year when we were voting on that budget, or on that grant. There was some lines going around.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
anyway,
I did correct you in the meeting.
so anyway, I thought that would be really beneficial for the community to get the information prior to going. And then for us to actually put out a survey about different points the community would like to talk about. So like, are they wanting to talk about the budget? Are they wanting to talk about level of service? So that when we go into this, we have a full laid out plan. It's not just sort of going in and, because I think my other concern too in learning about the open house is we are going to have to spend money to have the open house. We're gonna have Toastmasters or somebody run it. If we're gonna spend community money, then we need to come out with a resolution at the end. And so I think that's where my concern was. So that's my stake on it.
Okay, I'm sorry, but my understanding, maybe this is why we gotta have this discussion so we're all on the same page, was that information that you wanna print out and put on a paper, that is what we would be speaking. Like, it's not half hour, you know what I mean? It's not it's just an informative session.
How can you speak on these things if you don't know them?
Just the information that we've had through council meetings, is that not the truth, and is that not what we're taking to the meeting?
What? You're going to read agendas at the meeting? That's where I'm very confused. This is all this is information that I got from the staff here, bylaws and Fire Protection Act, the Peace River Regional District Safety Agreement, our level of service. These aren't in agendas. These are things that I had to go searching for. I had to reach out to the chief. I had to reach out to the staff members. I had to go onto the PC legislative and look into that stuff. This isn't stuff I got from agendas. These are things that we need the full.
But I wasn't going to get into that.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to have a circle and speak to people on what we've discussed at council meeting, what's been happening at the fire department. We're talking about showers, we're talking about, you know what I mean, different things, the RCP in there, first responders. It's just a basic.
You want to have an information session.
Yeah. And hear back from residents what they think.
Right. Well, that's not what was initially put out, and that's where I left that conference afterwards, was very confused. So I don't understand. You want to have an information session on information without the input of the fire department. That's not an open house, that's an information session. That's where I'm very confused. That's where I think that confusion is coming from. There needs to not be any confusion. This is that doesn't make any sense. Are we having an information session or are we having an open house? Those are two different things.
Right.
I believe that the motion was to have a town hall meeting. Definition, wasn't it?
I looked at it.
Was to have an open house.
An open house.
Yes. To discuss the fire department.
Oh.
So then,
Sandy?
you asked us to do a mail drop. And that's where most of this comes out of, is because as staff, this cannot come from us. This has to come from council. You wanted an open house, and you want us to do a mail drop. So we wanted to know what information it is you wanted out there in this mail drop. Because this is not coming from us, this is coming from council. And when I asked for it, you guys said you wanted to talk about it
At
at the
council,
meeting.
so
So
that
here's the meeting.
Can she finish what she's saying, please? Thank you.
So then Councillor Beach came to me after NCLGA and said that she had read all this and that she had some questions. So, and Councillor Hebert, Councillor Smith, you all said you wanted to talk about it at the meeting, so that's why this is on here for discussion. Because as staff, we do not know what it is exactly you want in this mail drop and what exactly it is you're gonna, because there were several things that went back and forth in meetings. One was to discuss what the fire department's doing, what services they're providing, but then another motion was made asking for where does council want to go with the fire department?
And so that's why I'm proposing that we keep the open house. I agree. but we just postponed it. And prior to having the open house, we put out an information package about all the things that you're saying, the cost of the fire department, the levels of service, the decontamination showers, the plans, who our firefighters are. We put out a survey asking the community what they would like, and then we take all that information with us to the open house. So it's still literally the same thing, but rather than having, well, you're talking about an information session, but rather than it being like, you talk about things from an agenda that have changed 19 million times because one thing is being said at one and not something else, something at another one. It's all informed, it's all out there. The villagers know what we know what they know, and now we're having an open discussion about it. That's an open house to me. When I voted, that's what I was envisioning.
Right.
And a resolution?
Sorry, wrong words. Not a resolution, but
No decisions.
no decisions can be made, but it's a conversation that doesn't just go around in circles. It's a conversation that eventually leads to something.
I wanted it discussed at meeting, not by emails, so that everybody's at the table, everybody's hearing. That's all I wanted, that's why. And I didn't feel that what I wanted to have was something that would take lots of time to prepare. We can still have the meeting, but I'm open to discussion, whatever.
Well, anytime there's an open house, it takes time to prepare. It does do that.
Well, I'd like to put that motion on the floor, that we postpone it, that we have the chief come in and work with our staff.
So you're putting a formal motion on the floor?
I'm putting a formal motion on the floor that we postpone the open house until after we send out an information package that has been created with staff and the chief, introducing the community to all that the fire department does, levels of service, what they're doing, what their plans are, different things, introducing them to the firefighters that are within our community, and then we put out a survey.
Right.
I think the purpose of it was not to involve the volunteers in this,
Okay.
because it has nothing to do with the volunteers. This is just a village council decisions that are made about an entity, not people. Volunteers are, as you said, for the could be July 1st. It's very difficult to come by. These people run out there and put their lives out there. Like, while we're running, they're going straight to it. I do not have any judgment to make whatsoever on volunteers in this village. And yeah, I would not like to see the volunteers included in this. All it is council and an entity.
Or Danielle?
I wasn't talking about involving the volunteers. I was talking
Well,
about
you
the
did
meet
say
and greet.
volunteers.
Well, sorry, I meant like put a little thing about them so the community can see a
Picture
picture.
And information about them.
Like even, we don't even have to have it, doesn't matter.
No.
I'm just saying, like, let's have an information package go out that has been created on all these facts of the fire department, and then do a survey created with council and the chief. And then, once we have all the information and the community has it and we have it, have the open house. Have an informed open house where we're not just talking around in circles about the same thing over and over. It has a beginning, middle, and end, like a book.
Barb?
I don't like the idea of a survey. I'd like to meet my residents face to face. I'm game with putting out information, what it's gonna be about, but no survey. I would like to discuss at that time and have them bring their concerns, bring their questions.
Danielle?
I think the survey would be a good way to lead the meeting. Like, you're thinking of the surveys and they fill it out and then they don't come. I'm thinking of a survey as a tool. So having that sort of be a layout of the conversations that the villagers are going to be coming and having. So not as a do this, but don't do this, but more of a, okay, which of the, you know, like, what do you feel that you, think is the most important for our village? I'm thinking on the spot, sorry, but like for our fire department, right? Or any comments, questions, or concerns that you are going to be bringing forward, like giving it something for the villagers to get them thinking, okay, when I go to this open house, what am I going to be talking about? Then when we have that information, we can get an overall consensus of what the community is wanting to know about the most. Are they wanting to know about the budget the most? Are they wanting to know about levels of service the most? What are we hearing from them on these surveys that are they're most concerned about? So when we go into these meetings, we can make sure we have all the information on those things for sure. Like we've done the homework, we've done the research, we have the answers, we know. And so when they come in, we can have the conversation and then learn and grow from each other. So they're hearing from us, okay, this is where we're at. Where would you guys be interested in going? And having that informed conversation. That's the way I think of a survey as a tool to lead us to a conclusion. I don't want to say resolution again, you're gonna hop on me.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hearing two different things here. I'm hearing Councillor Smith say she just wants to have an informal get-together, correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor Smith, in an informal setting to just discuss with anybody who wants to discuss the fire department. There's no decisions, there's no, it's just a council with people. That said though, you can't close it to the volunteers. You can't say.
It's a public meeting.
Exactly, it's a public meeting, so
Oh,
you
no.
can't say that our fire department or our fire volunteers can't come.
Oh, no.
No, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to get it clear, because that's how it's coming across.
No.
You're saying the volunteers
No.
shouldn't be there, because
That
it's
isn't
not
what I
about
said.
them. Yeah, that's what
No,
you said.
that is not what I
Yes.
said.
Anyway, you wanna do more of an info before this, so there's two different things happening here. So I kinda understand it a little better. For what Counselor Smith wants, you guys can have that anytime. And you could actually do it here. Do you remember when you did the council tea?
Yeah.
And you invited people in to, my suggestion would be to do it something like that. We'll just have a little informal, not at the community center, just people can come and go and you guys can talk to them, like you did with that community tea. You sat down with people, you listened to their concerns, you took notes, whatever, and brought it back. Then, from there, you guys can go ahead and decide, okay, do we want to now put together this information package? Do we want to do a survey? Do we want to do another big open house at the community center, say, at the end of August, beginning of September? If that's something, or is it something you wanna wait until the next council's in? Before the next budget? That's why, sorry if I offended anybody. That's what I'm hearing, it's two different things.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from, but now I get where Councillor Smith's coming from.
Mm.
And I think it could be a very informal, and mail drop might be a little, maybe it's just a what time, where, and when. No, nothing on there stating this is, this is just a drop-in session to talk about services provided, or something to that effect. Don't get all. Very neutral, very neutral.
Very good.
Yes.
So that said, we still have a motion on the floor, and we don't have a seconder yet, so.
Yeah, we have Marcel in second.
Did he second it? Okay.
All in favor?
What, could you read the motion?
You wanna repeat your motion, because you were talking so fast?
Hello.
The Coles notes is to put a information package out about first of all, to postpone the open house, and put out an information package about the fire department, second, do a survey, and then third, have a public open house.
I wonder if we should amend that to include The tea thing, I've never heard of that, I didn't know that was a thing.
So, is staff gonna be here? So this is gonna be a cost to the village?
Well, I'll be here.
This is gonna be a cost.
We still have a motion here, we haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, okay, what is it, postpone the open house?
Postpone your open house, do an information package, do a survey, and then hold the open house at the end of August or September. I'm taking your notes here.
Oh, yeah.
I have abbreviated notes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll go back and listen to the tape. So,
So you want all in favor now, or?
you need to vote on this one before you can do anything else.
Yeah.
Unless Counselor Beach would like to rescind it, for now. Or revoke it, or change it, or bring it up at a later date, or.
That's a $1 million question. I still
We
would
can't
like
do-
us to do that, but I do like the idea of adding in the informal tea.
So what if we
So you
were to
rescind
just
that?
rescind this one for now,
Okay.
do a motion for the tea, let's have the tea, see how it goes, or whatever it is, and then
Alright.
you can bring it back.
We'll do the motion. Sure.
So, hold on. So, this motion, are you, motion to rescind?
No, we'll keep it. Isn't that what you just said? Or did you say rescind it?
I said rescind it, and bring it back after the tea.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So
Sorry.
you're rescinding it.
Yes.
And we're all in favor for that.
Seconder for that one, please.
Marcel.
Bart, now we do your motion?
I would like to do a motion where we hold a tea or community
Informal, informal council get together, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Hold an informal council,
Meet and greet,
there you go, meet and greet at City Hall, or the village.
Okay, and do we have a date?
If you still want to go with the 25th of May, you can still do that but keep in mind that it's only a week away. Or would you rather push it to, we could do it just before the council meeting on June 1st. If you like.
Yeah, at 5 o'clock,
Do 5 to 7,
5 to 7.
does that work? Okay, so June 1st,
just before the council meeting?
we'll do from 5 PM to 7, or 5 to 6:50 or whatever, and then. Okay, is there a seconder?
Sure. Marlene's seconding it.
Okay, are we voting?
All in favor?
Question?
Hold on, any opposed?
No.
No? Okay,
Now, we've had 2 members of the council say they didn't want to attend, will they be attending?
We've just agreed for it, so obviously, yes, we would be attending.
Yeah, if it's a tea instead of an open house, then that's a different, an informal session.
And
that's a
Sandy, I
little
want the
different.
cost of this, how much this costs us to use Howard, what your wages are.
here anyway.
Yeah, at 6 you will be.
Okay, is everybody happy with that
Mhm.
for now?
8.2 recommendation?
The council received the Poos Koopy First of July shuttle quote for information and discussion.
Can I get a second?
Second discussion.
So,
Go ahead, Marcel.
so with this, it's one of those things, Dare to Dream Society now taking on the organization, I'd say we just set this aside for now, and it's information for the Dare to Dream Society, and then they let them handle it and bring it back if that's something that they choose to do with their organization.
Okay.
Do I need to put a motion for that, or do we, okay?
Or
So-
table it, just say table it.
Yeah, we'll just table it and.
All in favor?
All in favor? Okay. 8.3 is TJ Mizey's ball diamond use. That is your late item. Can I get a seconder on it?
So,
I think this is a wonderful idea. Any questions, Sandy?
So I spoke to TJ yesterday, he's got some fantastic ideas for the ballpark. He's gonna do a written formal, thing for council to come as a delegation, but because he was looking at next weekend to do some camping, and hold some tournaments. I said that I would put these 3 dates in front of council and just verify that you guys are okay with this. In the past, you've told him, it's come to council, or the former CAO has told him it's okay to camp down there. He's very responsible. If they have fires, they're doing it in propane pits. He said if they hold an actual wood burning one, he says they have a portable pit that they bring, and they do consult with the fire chief about it. But it looks like he's got quite a bit of action going on down there. He's looking at ways to bring more people into Poos. He's gonna have open softball nights and stuff that anybody can go. You don't have to be part of a team, man, woman, child. So he's, anyway, and then
That's
he's
such a great idea.
and he's willing to work with the youths. We did discuss the rec committee. It's not so much into the rec committee, but he believes that this will actually bring, people to town and get the kids out there. And so if everybody is in favor of this, I just need a motion that you're okay with him doing the camping down there for now is what I want.
Russell?
I'm gonna be that guy, cause I think TJ's got an awesome idea, and it's, a great TJ's a great guy, I've known him for years. Liability issues with the village,
There's never been any before. I'm not sure how we cover that, but I think it's.
Is it covered kind of under,
I'm not sure if he has or not, but I'll check with him.
that'd be my only concern.
Well, he has insurance because of the tournaments, right?
Okay.
So we'll just double check with his insurance, that's all.
I'll second the motion.
I just said it a second.
Oh.
Nine
All in favor?
correspondence, all in favor? Anybody see any correspondence? We have to keep it all in line now, not be all over the map. Per boss lady. This 9.2, that council received emails from, Modi, or from Modi and from ICBC. I need a letter for, to Modi to give ICBC permission to do the crosswalks. If Modi says it's okay, then they can go ahead and do it.
So you want a letter? Yeah. MOTI.
Please and thank you.
ICBC.
Can we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Okay.
Anybody see anything else? Councilor Whittle, do you wanna talk on 9.9? That's the pillar of hope and strength you wanted not.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nobody's had anything else. So yeah, 9.9 was actually an item that came up, Pillars of Hope, was an item that came up at the, NCLGA, Alphabet Soup Conference. And it was kind of a nifty thing that came up, the big theme on that was reconciliation. And there's a community group that's actually putting together, they want to do pillars at either end of the Highway of Tears in recognition of the missing Indigenous women. So I thought it would be a good thing to bring back to council and for council to see, because not everybody was at the conference. And, it was one of those things that I wanted to bring back for consideration, if that was something that us as a community were interested in doing a donation towards that or support.
Sandy, how much do we have in our councilor's discretion? Oh, sorry.
Bring it back. We'll bring it back to the next meeting.
And can you find out what the facts are or whatever we have to do?
What was the amount that we made to the 1,600, but we split that between 4.
We have a letter in here thanking them then. But we're
So-
supposed to stay organized, honey.
She is, it's the last one.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, I'd say we look at it as something similar to them that we did to the other organizations.
So we'll see how much a plaque is or if they're,
See what their options are, I guess.
yeah. We donated $200 to
Each of them,
each foundation, yeah.
We'll find out some more info.
All in favor? Okay, legacy of hope, Benny, go ahead. I'd like to bring up 9.10, we received a letter from the Legacy of Hope Foundation. I would just like to, I know that there was some conversation around, reconciliation through donation. I'd just like to note that they did say we are incredibly touched by your efforts to encourage positive change, raise awareness, and work towards reconciliation. So, I'm kind of put a note on that, but
Thank you, Dan.
thank you.
That's awesome. Okay, back to my report here. Resolutions none, bylaws none, administration reports, 12.1 CAO report.
I gave you 2 pages of notes. You want more?
We wanna know about your trip.
My trip was fantastic. I learned a lot. I learned that there's a lot councils don't know about fire departments, and probably the basic resident doesn't know about fire departments. That it's the training aspect and the knowledge that are required between a volunteer and a paid are no different. It's all the same. The only difference is we're not paying our people to. I have a nice big binder if anyone would care to look at it. And it also opened my eyes to the fact that I don't think any of the past CAOs were as involved in the fire department as I've been roped into. And just for the record, I'm going to get an illuminated light. It's going to have the chief's face on it with a line through it, and certain days it's going to have an on switch. I think he's not allowed in my office anymore. But it was a very good conference, very knowledgeable. Just a couple of things. Canada Day coffee mugs. Do you want me to go ahead and just order the 150, or do you want to pick a different design, or just do the white ones? Go for this one. Okay. And also just an update on, I'm jumping a little bit, but the capital and special projects. As for the website, we have chosen to go with New Harvest Media. They are local. He doesn't know yet, so, but we're letting you guys know. Both Pauline, admin assistant and I have gone through all the information that we have. We had about 13 different website providers that we got information from, and he's local, provides local service, and we just felt that it would be better to go, and he's not at the top of our scale. It's not at the bottom, it's not at the top, we're kind of in the middle.
He's
So,
good.
just so you know, that's who we've gone with, and that's the end of my report, and yes, I'm still sick, just for the record.
I have a question for our CAO. The Sakunka movie, do we have anything in writing if it's our movie? Do
Not
we
that I
have any rights to where it's shown, or where it can be shown, or, and can you give me a total how much we've contributed?
The total that we contributed was 24,000.
Okay, thank you.
24,900?
Yes.
Okay. As for the rights of the movie, I would have to look into
Well,
that.
he just said it's ours. So if you write up
But
a
there's
contract.
nothing in writing.
Yeah, if you write up a contract, send it to Suk and he'll sign it.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about release forms or anything like that
Does
for.
somebody want to make a motion for me to look into all of this?
Can you do that?
I will make the motion.
Can I get a seconder? Oh, second. Whatever.
I'll put everybody's name down. Okay, and all in favor?
All in favor?
Thank you.
Action items.
Somebody took my big sheet.
Sorry.
Who's been sitting at my desk?
Well, it's updated, so it's not the same one.
Oh,
What are you putting on it for?
I was gonna ask you a question, but I decided I'm not.
So are they doing that pavement at the end of my street, that 49?
Is that one of them? Oh, I have it right.
That chunk has always had water laying in it since they moved the storm drain. And the storm drain sits too high up on the boulevard.
Says
You want
49th
business?
Ave and Railway paving, I don't know. Is that's not down there, is it? No.
action item? Special projects? Nothing? Councilors' calendars?
Museum meeting on the 26th in the library.
So our museum on the 26th of May
And library.
and library? Oh, okay.
Okay. 13 reports, 13.1, Councilor Smith's report.
Yes, I attended the NCLGA in Fort St. John. I found it really good with the sessions this year because they didn't have people coming in as outsider or somebody from Vancouver to speak on it. It was all people from our region that sat and did the sessions. I found them very informative. Our health services, whew. And I was really impressed with the keynote speaker and the Truth and Reconciliation session that we had. And it's something I think our council has to, we gotta start working towards that.
Danny's been getting us going. Thank you, Danny. Marlene Hebert.
Like the BC Electoral Commission meeting that they held at the GDI on May 9th. Lots of people there from Fort St. John and area. Nice to see them come out. I didn't realize that the commission wasn't holding a meeting for Fort St. John, that they were only doing Fort Nelson and Dawson Creek. So nice to see all those people come out in the snow, in the cold. On the 14th, that was Saturday, the museum held their flea market. I mean, 25 cents, people. And spent 41 shopping. It was lovely. I enjoyed it immensely. Looking forward to next year. On Monday, the 16th, went to Northwind's open house. That was very nice too. I was there from 5:30 or so. Saw people that I haven't seen for a long time. Very nice. And on the 20th, on Friday, seniors are having their dinner.
Is it 28? Councilor Beach.
I went to the NCGLA conference for the 3 days up in Fort St. John. I found it very informative. There wasn't a lot, because I'm so new to all this, there was a lot that I didn't know a ton about going into it, but, it was a great opportunity to meet some of our local government people, the mayor of Chetwynd, the mayor of Taylor, the mayor of Fort St. John, Rackman, and so it was really nice in that instance, because with COVID and stuff, even though we are sort of at the tail end, knock on wood or whatever, I still haven't had an opportunity to go out and meet these people, and so that was lovely. I did absolutely love that. I attended the BC electoral meeting as well, saw Councilor Hebert there. It was nice to see lots of people come out. I was hoping to see a few more younger people, but there weren't too many of them there. But I was sharing it all over Facebook like a crazy person and phoning all my friends and family. I found it quite comical when they were talking about Many of the people who came had mentioned how difficult it was for them to travel down to Dawson Creek, because they were only doing in Dawson Creek and Port Nelson, and, during the meeting, I had to leave like halfway through because my husband was on call and he got called out to work. And, even though, I live in Pouce Coupe, they were only having this one meeting on the one day. My own husband couldn't come because he was on call. You know, so a lot of those people who this would be affecting couldn't even go to this one night because we're busy feeding gas to Canada and oil. So I found that quite comical. I had to run out because my husband had to go restart all as well. So I read all this information on the fire hall until I was cross-eyed. That took me about 3 days. I did that. I watched the Sekunka movie, and that's not what I expected, I will be honest. Not what I expected at all. I was expecting much more of a tourism video, so. I forced my husband to go to, I made my husband go to the museum thing in place of me, because I got strep throat. As you see, I still sound a bit weird. So I also missed the Northwind thing, which I had planned on going to as well. So, but I figured if I'd arrived sounding like I was going through like early puberty, people probably would have run away from me. I sounded quite sick, so. I did manage to make it to the Legion dinner prior to getting strep. I literally woke up the next morning and was like, oh no. And then I was panicking, COVID testing like crazy, but I was fine, thank goodness. I just had strep throat, which sucked. So I had a very busy, I was like writing this down, and I was going, oh, this is why I'm so worn out. So yeah, it's been a very busy couple of weeks. It's good though. Good. Councilor Will.
Yeah, I attended the NCLGA conference as well. Really enjoyed the keynote speaker, and it was an eye-opening experience to get in, and it was nice to meet some of the elected officials from surrounding communities. Also watched Sekunka this last week, and yeah, it's a best potential. Looking forward to seeing the final edit on it. And then yeah, went to the Schnitzel night at the Legion the other night, and yeah, that's about it.
Good. Okay, Mayor McKinney. Well, I went to NCLJ, listened to Jody Wilson-Raybould. She is a great motivation speaker, holy cow. She tells it like it is. Lots of information on all the healthcare and the policing, and yeah, our healthcare does suck, Barb, you were right. I also talked to ICBC about the crosswalks. There's a grant, the email is attached. ICBC need an okay from the Ministry of Transportation to do the crosswalks. We did that. Can I get another, letter wrote to MOT, did that. Had a meeting with Councillor Marcel Woodall, Jeremy Linklater for Dare to Dream. We discussed Canada Day. And then Sandy, you looked into the community futures interest, no such thing. We have a meeting with the library on June 2nd for Canada Day. Went to the Legion for Schnitzel, lots of people, large portions of food, only $20. Attended the museum opening, excellent breakfast as always. And Sandy, can I get you to invite the delegations, all the delegates for the parade? Oh, you know, the ones that come every year, like Bob Zimmer and Mike Bernier and City Dawson Creek. Send out an invitation?
Yes.
Okay. I attended the Northwinds Healing Center open house. I love the concept of the building and all that, but I still don't think the location is a good location. Did you look into a referendum? Can I have a motion on the floor to do that, for you to look in the price of the referendum for them?
Question.
I need a seconder on that, please.
I'll second it just for discussion.
They own the property, it's zoned for that kind of facility. What would a referendum? We either give a letter of support, this is my understanding, a letter of support, or we don't say anything.
Well, the residents are the ones that want to speak, and a lot of residents wouldn't go speaking over there.
Or maybe you could make it part of our team.
Maybe we could. We wouldn't be paying for it, they would be. So can you check into that, Sandy? All in favor?
Well, you only got one so far, so.
Guess not, don't worry about it then. Oh, and I have, two gentlemen here in the gallery. They would like to know when they can start using the community center for, taekwondo.
Can we have a motion for them to reach out to us so we can work out the details, please? The only question is council giving it to them for free again?
Well, I think that's what we did last time. We're
Yeah,
giving the
because
ball
it
diamonds
stopped.
away, and we might as well
But we
get,
don't take care of the ball diamonds, that's a different issue.
they pay for the janitorial?
For the ball diamonds?
Or at least,
No, they don't pay for the janitorial.
can you afford the janitorial service?
What is that?
There's details that need to be worked out.
Okay. Do you wanna have a meeting with Sandy,
Sure, that's fine,
work out the details?
sure.
Thanks, Sandy.
I just wanna ask a question, you had a Zoom call with the RCMP in the province?
No, I phoned Sandy.
Okay, can someone give me the information, because I'm curious to know if it's gonna impact municipalities under 5,000.
So it was a call with the province discussing the retroactive RCMP pay. Okay? It is gonna impact communities. On what level, I don't know. It's not gonna impact us this year. If the soonest it's going to impact anybody is going to be 2023. I did speak to the CFO to see if our cost had gone up in regards to that, and it actually had gone down. So it hasn't affected us in a big way. It is gonna affect some communities. They're not sure how they're gonna deal with it yet. There's gonna be big lump sum retroactive pays. But as far as Coos is concerned, right now, it's not an issue for
We
us.
pay our CMP through our taxes.
Yes,
The
but
bigger
it's gonna be,
communities don't.
if there's a retroactive, it's going to affect all of those communities. Right now, we don't have a budget amount or anything.
There's
No
a thing
effect
in
to us right
Ottawa.
now.
There's a thing in Ottawa as well, that they're doing on that. Changing.
There is discussion about changing the RCMP to a provincial police force, was there any discussion on that? Okay,
It was
thank
strictly
you.
about the retroactive.
Okay, thanks.
Motion to.
Motion to adjourn.